Post-match interview here at the Erie following today's 7-2 victory over Marlow. Obviously last weekend, Dave, was a win that we needed to get done, and we scored a lot of goals without, I think we were both in agreement when we did the post-match last week that it was probably a frustrating 8-0 win last week, because we could have scored a lot more goals, but today I felt we were, although we conceded 2 goals, we were outstanding in all departments today.
I thought so. I thought the first half was exceptional, if I'm honest with you. It's quite strange because I thought it was going to, I expected a much tougher game today, but then I have to sort of, on this occasion, probably really praise us up, because I felt that we were on the front foot from the off, and they just struggled with us. You know, we scored 4 outstanding goals. Some of the build-up play from was excellent. The sort of stuff that we like to see. We were quite clinical in the finishing. Young Ryan's scored 2. I think he's created 1 for Adam. Rio's got an unbelievable finish. You know, and it was perfect. In fact, 4-0. You know, could have been maybe another 1 or 2 on top of that. That's how well I thought we played.
I felt it was a different type of.
Yeah.
It was a different level compared to last week. I felt we probably won comfortably without breaking sweat last week. I didn't think Marlow were a bad team today. They were a threat on the counter-attack at times, but I felt that we were ruthless when we needed to be, and we also played some really good stuff. Yeah,
which has been a bit unlike us this season. Look, if me and Skip have got probably gripes, it's that we've, 15 goals in 2 games has been unheard of this year. We've never put anybody to bed. We've never not been clinical enough. And today, probably it all came together in the first half. It was the first half was, in terms of the finishing and what we built and made, was almost perfection from my point of view. So you're right, as you say, last week we scored 8, and let's be fair, we probably wasted another 16. And that's not being rude. It just, we wasted and wasted and wasted. We did the same at London Lions a few weeks ago. First half was, some of our play was outstanding, and we couldn't barn door. So, and that's been our issue all season. Today it was perfect. Cherry strikes again. Today it was sort of, it was perfect. So. And listen, if we could produce that sort of performance every week, then then we know we're a real good side. And whereas we've let teams off the hook too many times, I don't think we would. The second half, look, we passed them the first one, and the second one's a deflection. So at that point they were down to 10 men, but what I liked was that we just upped it again and got at them and scored the extra goals, missed 2 absolute dollies, if I'm honest with you. Which we could have inflicted an even bigger defeat on them, but I ain't going to complain at 7-2. It's a great couple of games, especially leading into what is a real tough weekend coming up.
Skip, touching on basically what Dave's just said, must be really pleased with the performance. They had a player sent off towards the end of the first half. I don't think it really had any effect on the result anyway, because I felt we were comfortable even at the point that he was sent off. But what was your view on that? Because it was sort of on a more your side of the field than my side. Was it a red card from your perspective? Because he did, I think it was a straight red, but he had been booked in the first sort of 5 minutes for diving.
Yeah, it was 3-0 at the time, and he was tussling with Brad. But yeah, he's thrown up what can only be described as a punch, if you're being honest with you. He said he didn't do anything wrong. His reaction, but you could tell straight away, and fair play to the referee, he's seen it, so he knew what he'd done straight away. He's obviously seen a little bit of red mist. Going forward, if he'd have been out there second half, because they did look quite good and he was a threat, so he's obviously a good player, so he's got the frustrations got the better of him. But yeah, it's a red card, and if I'm being honest, I think they're lucky to only pick up another yellow, because some of the
that was going to be my next question. I felt they were a decent outfit, even though obviously we've scored 7 goals today, but there was a lot of there was a lot of holding going on off the ball and some argy-bargy and stuff, which I think the referee let go a little bit more than maybe he should have done.
Well, the young lad Ryan's got stud marks that start on his thigh and go down below his knee from a corner challenge where the bloke's gone straight through him. Laurie had one straight through the back. Connor's got cut on his knee from something that was obviously high and late. You've got Brad who's been punched. I think one of them set on Fisher towards the end, of which Fisher, by which time, has had enough. But for us, thank God, Fisher just sat there and put chest to chest. So he's picked up a cheap yellow card, but their guy got a yellow card. They had to end up taking him off because he had lost the plot. And we're telling the linesman, just watch him, because he was literally going around looking for fish. He was not interested in the game. It was a matter of the ball in the air and he was going to go straight through. So they took him off. So fair play to their management side for doing that. So physical battle, but we matched them, if I'm being honest with you. But we matched them without retaliating, and we just got up.
We have had some games this season. I could probably think of Tame maybe here just before Christmas, where it was a physical battle, and maybe our temperament has not been the greatest, and we've ended up with lots of yellow cards as a result. But we seem to handle that really well today.
Yeah, I think the fact that you're winning as well, so
yeah,
you don't do anything stupid. The Tame game, the game was in the balance, and yeah, we matched them. I mean, Tame are a good footballing side, but they're a physical side. There's nothing wrong with that at all. So we matched them on the day. Today we have just we let them do what they needed to do. They were trying to create a battle, but we just played the football. But they're a good side. We just took our chances today. There's been, good grief, there's been half a dozen games this season where we've played maybe not quite as well as that, but up there, and just not took our chances. And you've ended up, some of those we've ended up drawing games. In fact, one of them, Rayners Lane, we ended up losing it when we created, I don't know how many chances on the night. So yeah, it's a good place at the moment. Lads are playing good football. London Lions, I thought we were outstanding. Last week we played well against a side that I know was bottom. Today we played very, very well. Barton was another game in the mix there where we probably didn't play eye-catching, pleasing football, but we battled out and ground out a 2-1 win. So yeah, we're in the middle of a good run, and so next weekend we've got probably our two toughest games on paper. Doesn't always work out like that, but Hadley on the Friday, Ware on the Monday at home, which are probably the two sides that we've got to look at, and if we can come through them, as Dave said, unscathed, we can look at the running and see where we end up.
Excellent stuff. Dave, just a word for Sonny, who's on the bench today, but came off the bench and had a real impact, and good to see him get a brace as well.
Yeah, I think Sonny's a great lad. Work rate is phenomenal. He just doesn't have, there's not been enough end product. He gets himself into good positions, and I spoke to him today. Obviously we hadn't chosen to start. That was for other reasons, if I'm honest with you, and he knows about that. But spoke about the fact that feels to me like he's safe, so he's just he's taking power off his shots to make sure they hit the target, and of course by the time they arrive they're easy safe. So, and I know that Alex has also been pushing him, so I think hopefully between the both of us we've just got him to, I don't know, just to relax a bit more, as I said to him today in here, I said I'd rather you lash it wide than you just trying to hit a target and really half the time just roll it into the goalkeeper's arms. I'd rather see the other, because if you start putting some pace and power behind it and starting the target, then your goal record's going to go up, and add that to his game, he becomes a real top player. That's the thing with him. He's got all the other attributes. He's got an engine like no other. Up and down the pitch, he covers every blade of grass there is. He's brave. He goes in where it's tough. Today I think he was on about 2 minutes and a guy's gone straight through him, left him in a heap. So he's not afraid. He doesn't pull out of anything. Great kid. Just needs to add that. So you could see him today when he got his first. The relief on him, and then to go and get a second, he was over the moon. So real pleased. First man to him was Alex, because again he's pushing him, and hopefully me and Alex, along with the rest of us, have finally got something out of him. You watch him in training, by the way, and his finishing is unbelievable. So it's there. Just got to be a bit more confident himself and a bit more braver. And if he does, then we might have struggle to hold on to him. But I don't think we will, because I think he loves it here. So
there's some good. Obviously, with him coming off the bench and getting that brace, there's a real competition for places in the attacking areas at the minute, because obviously Temi got 4 last week, obviously was on the bench today. Sonny's come on and got 2. I say Alex is always going to get you a goal, and so we've brought Luca in as well, who made one of the goals as well. So there's some real competition for places in the attacking areas.
Yeah, I think we're in good nick at this present stage. You know, you're right. We changed the side massively last week. We made a load of changes again today. We're brave enough, and I think we're right to say that we can change it in any way, and the side's strong enough to get results. Obviously, we look at certain games and we know we have to have a certain combination at the back. Them 2 games are coming up, and that combination will be together at the back for those games. But you know, they are. You know, Luca coming in looks nice. He's got some sharpness about him. It's quite nice coming and playing for a side that's in good form. We play, you know, it's all on the floor. I think he enjoys that part about it. It's into him, and we're asking him just to get and take his man on and get a ball in the box, which he's doing. And young Ryan's I think he's got 6 in.
It's 5 in 4. I think.
5 in 4. You know, 4 in his last 2 games. Sonny's added 2. Temi scored 4 today, and we left Temi out. And again, for no other reason than we wanted to change it around, and we wanted to get some games into people. We left Connor out and Rio out last week. We left Alex out last week. They all play today, and it's quite good. You know, they're all getting plenty of game time. The squad's great. We've got 1 or 2 players that possibly you'd say are a little bit undroppable, and they're in 1 or 2 key areas we don't really have massive backup, but they're important to us. You know, we were brave enough with Alex last week to do it. We did it today with lads. We took Huntley off towards the end of the game. We're in a good nick at this present stage, and I think we spoke about it a couple of seconds ago that the year we come second, we kind of lost our way a bit. We was there and we was hanging on. Everyone was dropping points. We went into the playoffs in no form at all. This weekend's massive. If we come through that unscathed, we're going to the playoffs in such good nick at this present stage. So we'll have no excuses, and we've got goal scorers aplenty now all of a sudden.
Skip, just finally, that win, Dave just mentioned it, that win today, actually, that's our highest ever point haul in a Southern League season. So it's another mark of the progress that we're making as a football club, and also as well, it does also show the amount of competition there is to get into the playoffs this season, because obviously in seasons, it was only a 36 game season when we made it last time, but we were always going into the last few games relatively comfortable that we were going to be in it, whereas this year I think the likes of Hartford, the likes of Town, everybody's pushing each other to make sure that you get as many points as possible, make sure that when we do reach, if we do reach the playoffs, that we reach it in a decent vein of form.
Yeah, I mean, this season, it's quite weird when you talk to different people, but this is probably the most competitive season we've had at this level. Down the years, you've had 1 or 2 sides that have been far better than everyone else. So Real Bedford last year were just head and shoulders above everybody. A couple of years ago, you had Bedford Town in the same scenario. Berkhamsted is another one. So is the standard quite as good as last year? Some people are saying not, but everybody is much of muchness. Everybody can beat everybody. Hence, we've lost to the team who are currently second bottom. So very competitive. And it's good. It makes it interesting when you're sitting there thinking, I mean, we're in the middle of a good run. I think they've drawn today, but if they'd have won today, they would have been right. They're still involved, but as you near the end, you start dropping points. The points sort of get multiplied. But yeah, no, it's been a good season purely because everybody can beat everybody. There isn't any real easy games as such. I know Dunstable may have fallen away, but listening to the lads last week, they still, even though it was 8-0. They've worked their socks off. They're a young side, so there was no give me. I had to work for it. So no, it'd be interesting. Playoffs is good. But I think Leighton will win it now. Well, we've got 5-6 games to go.
Yep.
So I think Leighton are now too far ahead for anybody to really catch them. But yeah, we'll see how the rest of the season plays out, and hopefully we're in the playoffs and see where we end up.
Excellent stuff, gents. Well, congratulations on another excellent victory today. We're almost getting towards the end of the season, so as we've just alluded to, big weekend next weekend. So we are at Hadley on Good Friday, and then we're at home here against Ware on Bank Holiday Monday, and then that leaves us with just a handful of games to go before hopefully our season is extended by being in the playoffs. So enjoy your 3 points, gents, and we'll see you again on Good Friday.
Thank you.
Thank you.